Okay, so since people still want to be bothered with other people, I will say what I remember and I'll let you fill in the pieces from there regarding the city of Gary shit and the Watkins and the Flournoys and the Burtons. And hopefully Wade will take a hint and leave me the fuck alone. Wade Flournoy has an aunt on his father's side named Lewis, Helen Lewis. She was married to the postmaster in Chesterton. His name was not Glenn, it was something like Gilbert, something like that. When he passed away, I know they have a son named Gilbert, so I'm not sure if that's his actual name or not. But when he passed away, the funeral was somewhere on the corner of like 5th Avenue and near Bridge Street, where that Walgreens used to be, in the gas station right there by those tracks by Thea Bowman, headed east. It's a little church at one of those lights on the left hand side, and I believe William, or we call him Willie Lewis and his children were there. That's the last time I saw them, actually. And his kids are super sweet. They have always been super normal people. Never had a problem with the mom or the sister. But I saw the Watkins there. That's where Wade reunited with the Watkins. Either that funeral or another funeral on his side, and I can't remember which one. Might have been Carolyn's Uncle Glenn Flournoy. His mother-in-law passed, and when she passed, I think that might be when we saw a lot of their family as well. And that was the elderly woman that I used to go visit in the Golden Pond senior community, like just because her daughter lived in California, the sister wasn't able to visit and I wasn't working at that time, so I would literally go and visit her to just make sure she was being taken care of, making sure that she wasn't getting like bed sores or sitting in a pissy diaper all day, you know what I mean? Just to show that someone's coming to check on her, and you know what I mean, she's not alone, because if they know that you're alone, they won't necessarily give you the same level of care. So I literally would just go check on her. And my name is in the visitor logs, and I went to her funeral. I think by myself. I don't even think Wade was with me when I went to her funeral. He might have been, I don't recall. Aunt Edna was her name, and she was best friends with my mother-in-law at the time. But she lived in California. Super sweet people. Which is why I didn't mind, because she was concerned for her mother, and she couldn't be there. She couldn't travel all the time. If she wasn't such a decent, sweet person, I would have never done that. If she was a jerk, I would have never done it. But I'm like, anybody who raised this lady to be a decent human being is probably a good person. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna go check on this lady once or twice a week and make sure she's okay. So I would buy her little picture books, because when you're older, your sight is not the same. So you just don't get to see the tiny words as well. And you may not always know where your glasses are, you know? So I bought her these pretty little books about, one of them was about like the landscapes and potted plants, and another one was about, you know, nature or something like that. Just for her to have something to read. But yeah, they were really sweet people. And I just, with no caveats, no like, you know, pay me the second Tuesday of every month and I'll go see her. You know what I mean? I just see her. Because I had a little bit of free time. Anyhow, went to that funeral and I think Uncle Glenn's funeral, and I think that's one way to reconnect with April and Maria Watkins. And they were about my age, and they had an older sister as well. April and Maria were more my age, but their sister was a little bit older, and he ended up getting her number, and I think that's the cousin that he used to, you know, whatever. But he would call them once in a while, you know, and I think he would, you know, hook up with that older sister of theirs, and just be weird. He's just a weirdo. I gotta tell you a secret. He's just kind of a weirdo. So I think that's when he went left, all the way left, because his mind was just so like gone. And I believe that when those two sisters, when they were younger, they moved out west to Hollywood. They're very beautiful young ladies, and they moved out to the West Coast. And I think they wanted to be like, I think they were like video girls and stuff like that back then. So that's what they, and I know this because they came back home one summer. I'm saying stuff like that. So there's that. Ebony and her mom, number one, would encourage Ebony. That's what you should move to California when you get old enough, and you know, go be in videos. They make good money and blah blah blah. That's what her aspiration was when she was a younger girl. So I'm just connecting the dots of how this mindset pervaded the family, number one, and kind of like sold its daughters, number two, and then it came to my side of the family, number three, and it's running through my brother, my cousin's daughters right now. Like supplying young women to celebrities to be their handlers. You see it in families like the Kardashians. Like they date multiple celebrity names, like big celebrity names, and they'll be with them for, let's say, 18 months, about the term of a probation, maybe 2 years, max 3 stops, and then they magically go away. And they're off to the next project or celebrity. So that is the scoop. They may have kids with their handlers. They make the best of it for a while they're together. And, you know, they get paid child support checks and move on to the next. So that's how that goes. I didn't know if people were aware. but apparently it is a little mini society.